America is just setting people up to fail. You know how much, how much money people can save just not. What?
Airlines and oil. Airlines. It's the airlines and the oil companies that killed high-speed rail.
It doesn't matter. We need them now. I don't got it. I understand why they weren't there. What I'm saying is, Amari said where we start. Infrastructure is where we need to start. Like Deb said, we have cities like that are in Tornado Alley. They're not fortified for that shit. We have cities like New Orleans or New York now that are not fortified. Long Island is no longer making cover for New York. The hurricanes are getting in. It was never like that. My whole life we never had hurricanes. We right on the water because we always had Long Island. But something is fucking going on. But they don't give a fuck about the people because New York is the richest city. 1 in every 22 people in New York is a millionaire. But y'all can't find a way to fortify this city from build a seawall, do anything to keep it from eroding and spilling into the ocean. But you know what? They put in the big beautiful bill a tax cut if you buy a tanning bed. So you can't tell me this shit is not directed towards millionaires. Who the fuck is buying a tanning bed?
Should I own like 6 tanning beds at one time? Anyways, I gotta go.
I didn't get what was so funny.
Steve, did he say sex beds or tanning beds?
He owns 6 tanning beds.
I used to own a tanning salon, so I just thought it was funny. But Dap, to your thing, with my black ass. Dap, to your thing, New Orleans is in a terrible spot. And that's really what New Orleans should have never been built where it was. It was a terrible place to put a city. And that's really, it doesn't have anything to do
Houston
structurally. Houston a little bit better. Houston's better than New Orleans.
Them cities will all wash away. If y'all look at anything geographically, Houston is gone, New Orleans gone, LA gone. If anything happened, if the tides rise in any way, shape, or form, those 4 cities.
Houston's like 30 miles inland. It's not
Don't forget Miami.
Houston,
Miami's probably worse.
Dude, when you drive in Houston, they literally have the bridges that you drive on top of in case there's a hurricane and floods.
You know how many times Houston got flooded and he's talking about no?
No, Houston, it's not as bad as New Orleans. There's nowhere, I'd say.
No, nothing's as bad as New Orleans, but
No, it's getting there.
Yeah, it's called the Bayou City. Like,
it's also the population has exploded. We should stop. That's why Houston's moving north and not moving south. As we explode in population, you're going to have more and more incidents because you have more and more people in places that they shouldn't be, like in hills in California and floodplains.
Instead of building infrastructure and making the cities fortifiable, like building places where people can escape, and also, the light rail or the rail lines, if they build them above ground, that's another form of escape. Just like they use the bridges, that's another form. Like, things can be used a multitude of ways, but I don't know if city planners are like they're killing them or they're just non-existent, but nobody has any bright ideas. It's so much stuff that we have access to, so much technology, but nobody has any good ideas. Nobody.
I think we need to do a couple of bro.
Yeah, they talked about building high-speed rail here, but the problem is you have a lot of rich landowners that obviously do not want any portion of their farmland. Well, I'm just telling you that also the rich folks who own the land bank down there also said they did not want the high-speed rail built on their land. Dallas, because I go to the meetings with Dallas and Dart and all that boring stuff. I go to all those, and it'll cost several $1 billion. Portions of that station will connect into Dallas and that kind of stuff. So it's going to cost billions of dollars and all that kind of stuff. And so a lot of those folks are like, yeah, no, we don't want that. But Texas has to also want mass transit. and not just try to annex it out of the South, period. It's not like New York and other places where they have fine mass transit and that kind of stuff. Our state is also very massive. It would cost hundreds of billions of dollars to lay rail lines here. I don't know what y'all think about it, but it would be a daunting task to lay that across Texas.
We needed what we did down in California. That's been really successful. They shipped billions. How many miles of rail have they laid? All right, go.
That's your boy Elon. That's your boy. Wait, are you?
You know how we would transform them cities?
Make a joke about the railway that's trying to go from Los Angeles to San Francisco, or the one that's going from LA to Vegas? You talking about that hyperrail? That's Elon. Elon fucked that money up. Go get your book.
I think that was Matt that said that. I think he left.
Yeah,
After saying,
that was what happened. He went to a motherfucking thing. He went to go check the rail. He went to go check Elon.
The rail line alone, like, what I don't understand is if we build just high speed rail, one down the East Coast, one down the West Coast, one in the Texas corridor, if they could just get a contract to do that, do y'all know how much that would like probably cool the planet from just the one on the East Coast? How many flights run up and down from Miami to New York or Miami to Boston every day? And if you put a high-speed rail line like the ones they have in China, or even the ones they have in Europe, like an electric one, how much shit would change for us?
Yeah, and how much revenue the airlines would lose. That's why they keep killing it. And so
fuck that. Fuck that. I'm talking, hold on. I'm talking about what it would do for the people, like health-wise. And see, this is the problem. Every time we start talking about people's health and well-being and quality of life, y'all bring it back to the money. And that's what's gonna kill niggas, is y'all always, the airlines will lose mad money, but niggas will be able to breathe.
I'm gonna say one more thing. So Ashton is right that there's also landowner problems in between Dallas and Houston, and because we don't have eminent domain, we don't like to use it like you can in China and in some of these European countries. They could just take the land and
We do have eminent domain.
we do have it, but it's not the same here in Texas. I just tell you.
It's the same all over the country.
The landowners here, especially the yeah, they have a lot. They have significant power. They got significant power in the state legislature.
Don't say we don't have eminent domain.
Yeah, I should have said it more correctly. But Ashton, you're correct. The landowners also have significant power in the state legislature to kill things. And if we were China, where you could just take the land and say, hey, here's your $100,000 for your land. We're laying a track.
They
It makes
can't
it a
do
lot
it. How
cheaper.
you think they built the highway system? They took them people land. They ain't give them no choice. They took their land. What you talking about? They could do it if the federal government could do it if they want to.
Obviously, we don't have the wherewithal and the power to do it. Anyway, it's been good being with you guys tonight.
We don't have the
You can't just be saying crazy stuff.
Their homes to build a stadium, Trent. That's ridiculous.
And Arlington, Texas, people had to give up their homes. Right.
Wait, what'd you say, woman?
I said Jerry Jones. Whenever they built AT&T, they used that on portions of
They did.
to get that stadium built. And that was simply for the Dallas fucking Cowboys. If they wanted to build a high-speed rail across Texas, they absolutely could pull the strings to make it happen. Like, it's just, let's just say what it is. Niggas don't want to do it. Just for the sake.
They
don't want to do it. They don't know the revenue.
Don't be blaming the niggas.
I've been a huge proponent of
Jerry Jones, the biggest nigga around.
He is. But I've been a huge proponent of high-speed rail in Houston since like the mid 2000s. I was with Bill White. I was with Bill White when they first laid out the plan announcement. I'm a huge fan of high-speed rail. I'm exactly with Just. It saves the planet. It costs less. There are so many good reasons that it's faster. So many good reasons to have high-speed rail, especially between Vegas and Los Angeles, Dallas and
New Orleans and Houston.
Yeah, I don't know about New Orleans.
Yeah, if they
but
got
Dallas,
between New Orleans
Dallas,
and
Houston,
Houston, that would be
to
funny.
Austin, it would be great. But the reason I'm just telling you, because I also know the people who have blocked this. One is the landowners, like Ashton said, but the biggest one is the airlines that continue to kill it because they make so much money with those short regional flights.
Yeah, and that's why y'all need to vote correctly. Because these things are just simple things that could have been done. Like, we literally have New York, DC, and Chicago as examples of how New York is the best example, like how a city can be walkable, it can be efficient, and it can stay relevant for years and years and years if you just do the right thing. And that's a rickety ass, old ass train station. If y'all build something state of the art, like in a place like Texas, or even Atlanta that is experiencing exponential growth, yeah, I just think people are stupid, and I'm irritated.
Yeah, we've exploded in growth. I mean, we need high-speed rail here. The Super Bowl and some of those commissions that came out here said, hey, we need better public transportation to move people. Even the World Cup Commission mentioned it. That's why we kind of lost a bid to get some of the main, we got some of them, but we don't have the transit that is needed. And so that's why we haven't really had another Super Bowl here. The commissions and all of that absolutely want better transportation, and we just got to get it and make the investment. Are we going to lose money because of that? No, we still got a portion of the cup, but other sports, we need to be able to bring in better sports and things like that, better entertainment, those kinds of things, and be able to move the people that we need. And trains and buses and all of that combined will be able to do that. You can't just build your way out by highways and all of that. The traffic in Houston is horrible, so I don't know. Highways aren't going to work.
So the other thing about that is, to Trent's point about the airline, now that they've totally fucked up the FAA, I think people are going to demand rail transportation because flying is going to become less safe. And they're going to see a serious depreciation of revenue. So, let Starlink take over the FAA, and that'll speed up high-speed
Northeast corridor is what's up though, because you best believe I could take a train, bring my ass right down to Grand Central, and catch a train right to Florida, catch an Amtrak right to fucking Florida.
And how many people would that employ just to build that train? How many people would that employ just to build that?
A whole bunch of people.
For years.
Yeah. From Texas to like all throughout Texas, you have like a major linkage, and then you have the even little smaller companies that you have the major Amtrak that runs through the major cities in Texas, and you have the smaller subsidiaries that run off of the Amtrak system in Texas to the smaller outskirts of the major cities and stuff like that.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, that would employ, that's a lot of jobs. That revenue money for the state of Texas. They stupid, but they just don't want to do stuff like that. They don't.
But even think if they feel like us.
Calming effect type narratives that are being spun out by the same people who are doing investigations, mind you, that have been there only 5 or 6 months and trying to take down a multiple decades long corruption scheme department. And so I would say that, like, there may not be a physical list. I don't know that